How are we, everyone? And I hope everyone's going well. Today it's Wednesday, beautiful sunny day outside. I just got me washing done. I thought I'd get my washing done. As soon as the sun rises, which is good because I'm sick of these flood damages too. Like I went for a walk around, Nepean River, and oh my God, all that flood damage was just ridiculous. Serious. So much flood damage, and I just couldn't believe it. It goes to show that the state government has just been bloody slow to fix these flood damages. There's people obviously out there who don't have a home to go to. Since the floods happened in February, and they blame Scott Morrison. Now, I don't know why Dominic Perrottet is just being slow on these flood disaster recovery in New South Wales, because clearly the Labor government blame it on climate change, which is, all bullshit. Just looking at all that flood damage on the week, I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I went for a 6K hike. My God, what a shitty hike to do, and you see all that flood damage, and it's just not nice. There's been a bit of flood damage at my place too, but I don't know. No wonder why the whole world has gone to shit, part 3 on the Stephen Shields radio show. But, I've been publishing my comic called Crazy Universe. It's available on Medium and Webtoon as well. So it's just nice to be able to show my artistic abilities and get into comic book because I quite enjoy expressing myself artistically as well. And being able to, find ways to get better and better, and as a content creator, always, you're just always creating content, no matter how much the world has gone to shit, part 3. I was watching on ADHTV last night, Alan Jones and Fred Paul. Great app, by the way. Great journalism, guys. Beautiful journalism. Tells it how it is. Probably not the way I do, but I definitely tell how the world the way it is, in my view. Scott Morrison, well, he's been in, what's he done now? Trying to get his hands involved in other people's portfolios and shit, and getting involved in other people's business. Yeah, I mean, Scott Morrison was a great prime minister, but you just can't be doing that. You really just can't be doing that. Trying to get involved in too many portfolios. Clearly the Liberal Party's gone to shit. The Labor Party's gone to shit. People are fed up with our two main governments in Australia because, number one, accommodation and housing is just ridiculous. Middle-class working family is probably living in a motel in a dodgy area, or, struggling to pay the rent and having to starve themselves. That's not cool. Look, no one deserves to be homeless. I'll tell you that. But why is the world out there so cutthroat and so shit? And it's like, well, the real estate just wants to sell the place and doesn't give a shit. They just want to sell it, make money off you, get their commission. I mean, that's how the world is going. And like the FBI raiding Donald Trump's Florida home over classified documents. Look, there's so many stories to this case. We're going to break this case down today. Look, if Donald Trump had these classified documents in a safe, locked up in a secret safe, and he offered to give them back to arrange a time for the FBI to come over and he hand them off, well, what's he done wrong? Why go to the point where Joe Biden and the Democrats, the left, they want to play politics? This is what pisses me off about the FBI. Now, we need the FBI, all right, the DEA, etc., etc. But it gets to the point that they're very good at playing the soap opera for political motivation, because if they don't like a Republican, they'll do anything they can, like a search warrant from a dodgy judge who signed it off for no reason. I mean, that's how do you feel if one day, or for my Australian listeners, the Australian Federal Police just raided your home for no reason, all over politics? Yeah, how would you feel? You'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. I'd go ballistic, because that's just not cool. So clearly the judge, this is all political motivation. Hunter Biden's been investigated for the last 4 years, but the FBI don't go and raid Hunter Biden's house. Hillary Clinton too. So-called deleted emails that she was getting up to dodgy things. The FBI never investigated Hillary Clinton. Why Donald Trump? Now, certainly, I agree. I'm probably not a big fan of Mr. Trump as our president, but look, as I depict in my comic Crazy Universe, I just tell how it is in 2022 for all my listeners. Our politicians, there's a lot of crook politicians who are just there just to get greed and not care about the Australian people or the American people. Now, Joe Biden's an old man. Clearly, in my opinion, he should be retired and relaxing on the beach. You know, he's wearing a diaper and, he can barely walk up the plane, stairs. And Nancy Pelosi's going around stirring up trouble in Taiwan, stirring up shit. So this is what the Democrats do. They're very good at stirring up trouble and stirring up drama. Especially the Labour Party too, and the Greens. They're very good at stirring up trouble. The same as the Daily Telegraph is very good at stirring up trouble. You know, but this is what it is. This is all political shit, guys, going on. Look, okay, if Donald Trump was found guilty, okay, he will never run for president again. If he did, under the Espionage Act, holding classified documents. But like, if he offered to arrange a day and a time to give it back to the FBI, and he was willing to cooperate with the FBI, then what's wrong with that? Why does the FBI have to go and raid someone's house for 9 hours to make themselves look great politically and stir up trouble for no reason? And this is what gives me the shits about the FBI, the DEA. Whenever things become a political soap opera, they take every chance they can to make it a soap opera for no reason. Now, like I said, how would you feel if the Australian Federal Police just barged down your door for no reason and you were innocent because of some crook judge wants to get back at you politically and put fear into you? You know, and death threats as well. This is not cool, guys. This is horrible. And this is how I see it. You know, there's a lot of corruption in the FBI, but yet they deny it because it's power. Defunding the police in the US too. Who funds the police? The taxpayers funding the police. It's all taxpayers' money. You know that. But that's what I'm just trying to point out the message to you. I mean, this is just not cool to do that. Now, I don't know the full investigation of the case, but when you read the news media, whatever news media you're all going to read, they're all going to say something completely different to what the truth is. You always go to Alan Jones and Fred Paul, because they got great journalism, tell it how it is. They don't talk bullshit. I don't accept bullshit on my show. I love my show. I tell the truth. I stand by the truth. Because my disability, it's been hard. And it's not just that, it's there's like NDIS fraud going on. There's government departments ripping off the government, scalping the government, taking advantage of the taxpayers' money from the NDIS to rip them off. Not ripping you off, ripping the government off, charging double than what they normally do. There was a lady on a current affair last night who had disabilities in a wheelchair, far worse than me. And the NDIS turn around and say, we're cutting back on your funding. Now she's having to go on and fight these bastards. And not only that, the paperwork involved, this poor woman, and who's having to look after her? Her husband. It should be a nurse or a caseworker looking after her. You know that. And this frustrates me. And like Pauline Hanson was absolutely right. There's fraud going on in the NDIS. The Sydney Morning Herald's reported it. NDIS fraud. Because if an organisation is going to take advantage of the government and rip them off and scalp them, the government should be cracking down on this. And this needs to be investigated. This is taxpayers' money. And when this NDIS first came around, I sort of knew this was going to be a disaster. There's some people in the government agencies just want to make everything so complicated than what it is. I have friends on NDIS. They tell me it's simple. Why do they want to make it complicated? Why so much paperwork to apply for a housing commission in Australia just to have a roof over your head and you can prove that you have a medical problem? Oh, we want more documents. We want more documents. It's like getting a passport in Australia because if you're born after 1986, they want either your mother or father's birth certificate. Oh, we want more documents to prove who you are. Yet I'm 21 years old. I had a problem getting a passport. I'm talking from my experience of getting an Australian passport. And that just pisses me off. I mean, I agree that there's a lot of dodgy people out there who have, played the system and go on trash housing commission. I mean, for quite a number of years, the high-rise buildings in Redfern were getting trashed. People were dealing drugs in there. That's taxpayers' money and very slow to maintain them. People were getting on housing commission because they really shouldn't have been getting on there to use it as a drug den, and the police weren't doing anything about it. You think, what are the police going to do if a tenant trashes your house? They do nothing in this country. It's always been like that. It just seems to me like if Bob Hawke or Rob Menzies were around today, they'd be like, what are all these dickheads doing with all this? Our government don't know what they're doing. Anthony Albanese doesn't know what he's doing. Great bloke. No, I'm not on Snapchat. I'm live streaming to Twitch as well. Great man, but you got to understand, in the Liberal Party in Australia, there are Liberal politicians who are leaning lefty greenies. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my glasses. Leaning left greenies. Yeah, good for you if you're on Snapchat. Left-leaning greenies who basically say that they're a Liberal politician, right? But they're in the background, they're back in the Labor Party. Like Malcolm Turnbull. Was Malcolm Turnbull a true Liberal Prime Minister? Or was he a Prime Minister that was a Labor voter? Think about that. When Malcolm Turnbull was our Prime Minister in Australia, was he a true Liberal? Now, Australia's a lucky country. We're supposed to be a rich island nation in this country, all right? But it's like when Kevin Rudd was Prime Minister back in 2008, he pissed off to China all the time. He's always in China in the global financial crisis. And Julia Gillard comes in. She's investing taxpayers' money overseas. And we're having illegal immigrants arriving here illegally. And who has to look after them? Taxpayers. I mean, that's not fair. You know, it's like for a small business owner out there, the more you earn, the more the government wants to take. They're called, well, I call them snakes. They take their cut in business. The middlemen take their cut. You know, the middleman. It's been like that in business all the time. It's a very crook world out there in business. Small business is a nightmare. Think about it like this. Gordon Ramsay once said that the struggles of being a restaurant owner, well, the more you earn, the more the landlord wants in his rent. That's not fair. You know, you're working hard, busting your ass off, and then your landlord wants to be an asshole and get more rent money out of you. He can go fuck himself, mate. I'm over this. Like, this is stupid. What's happened to us? In an island nation, we're supposed to be a rich country, and yet we've got a housing problem. A labour shortage. People don't want to work because they're underpaid. I don't blame them. Now, I'm not trying to I'm not getting angry personally. I'm not getting angry or revving up, but I'll just say things how they are because it's starting to piss me off. Now, obviously, you know, on the Stephen Shields radio show, I tell the truth. I tell the way it is. I have honesty, integrity, and loyalty. I'm fed up with tech companies like Facebook trying to control me, control everyone, run by the left. You never knew that all these social media tech companies all have something to do politically with Mark Zuckerberg investing in this meta and augmented reality universe to put a little virtual reality camera inside your eye socket. Oh, so you could see a little virtual reality thing. This is weird shit, dude. I don't know. The whole world's gone to shit. You can understand why the whole world has gone to shit. You know that? And Facebook are coming around saying to me that they're restricting this live show because of music copyright. Well, I own my own music, and yet they're telling me that I'm copyright infringing my own work. YouTube's done it to me. For what? You know? Oh, I'm fed up. I'm really over this. Because you hard-working Australians bust your ass off 38, 40 hours a week, and you get a bunch of snakes taking their cut out of your pay, and you're left with what? Fuck all, and you're broke. That's not fair. You got to eat. You got to pay your bills. Your electricity's going up in this country. Electricity companies will take advantage of hard-working Australians and pensioners, ripping them off. Organisations will take advantage of the NDIS, ripping the government off, the taxpayers' money. It's taxpayers' money. I'm sorry. That's your taxpayers' money funding the NDIS. And these bastards should be held accountable and prosecuted, in my opinion. Or, you know, and I mean that as in like compensated. You should be compensated for the government ripping you off. Like this poor woman last night on the current affair, the NDIS turn around, say we're cutting back on your funding. Yeah, how's she going to live? Who's going to look after her? The family looking after her. Not should be the nurses and the caseworkers. Should be the NDIS. You know, I'll just say it how it is because that's just unacceptable. Clearly, I knew from day one the NDIS was going to be going for disaster. I was not happy with it. I know I know a lot of people are on it and they're having a great time, and that's fine. But for me, people ripping the government off and scalping, like when they were scalping rapid antigen tests, that's not cool. You know that? We'll be right back. Yeah, so that's what it is. The scalpers who just want to take advantage, and you get the Daily Telegraph that is just dramatizing everything, right? Stirring up trouble. And look, I'll be honest, very good at stirring up trouble they are. You know what pissed me off about them? I go to buy Granddad's paper. He gives me his paper money. And they don't even tell me the paper's gone up 50 cents on the weekend. They keep putting their price up 50 cents for the newspaper, okay? And not only that, you're getting bombarded with advertising. The Sydney Morning Herald too is a rip-off. Nearly $5 for a paper. That's a rip-off. I remember when you could buy the newspaper for $1 during the week. I think on the weekend it was $1.50. Sunday paper $2. But why they keep putting it up and not telling? They should tell you a week in advance or 2 weeks that they're going to put their prices up. Now, a lot of these streaming services like Spotify and all these, they'll put their prices up gradually. I guarantee it. Whenever you go to your mechanic, you go to your doctor, your vet, whatever, because of the high rise of cost of living, they'll start putting their labour cost up. Hey, they got bills to pay. Your mechanic's got bills to pay. So it's not going to surprise me if they put their labour cost up. You know that? I mean, this is the problem with inflation that we're having, is people are struggling just to pay their bills now. Why? What's going on? So something needs to happen, because Anthony Albanese can't keep running away forever. He wanted to be Prime Minister. He will use every tactic he can to try and drive you away from the economy and start talking Scott Morrison's portfolio. You watch. This is a tactic that the Labor government will use to keep you distracted. Very good at doing that. Joe Biden's good at doing that as well. He will use anything he can to distract you. It's a tactic. Joe Biden should never have been elected as the president of the United States of America. He's too old. He should be, retired on the beach somewhere in Malibu, playing golf with George Bush or whatever. Nancy Pelosi going around Taiwan, stirring up trouble, is not good. There's already enough trouble in the world with the war in Ukraine with Vladimir Putin. If you're a politician using taxpayers' money to go to Taiwan and piss off the Chinese, well, shame on you for that, because you're the one who's stirring up trouble. They're stirring up drama. And she was told not to do that, because you just don't do that. Stirring up trouble is not cool. Because I guarantee if the China has every opportunity to partner with Russia, they will do it. No wonder why Scott Morrison wanted to build the nuclear submarine with the Solomon Islands deal for defense, in case there's an invasion in Australia, which could possibly happen. I don't know when, but when you read in the news that Chinese Air Force are practicing in Taiwan airspace or spying on the Australians, isn't that a sign of a war coming? I take this very serious. You read this. News.com.au, the Herald will talk about it. Read it. Isn't that a sign when your world governments are already talking about funding the military of a possible World War III? Scary times, isn't it? So what I do in my comic called Crazy Universe, I add a bit of comedy and realism to the real world because I tend to express myself in artistic forms. Plus, I love doing the podcast for you on Twitch because I just get fed up. Someone needs to speak up and stand up to world governments to say, pull your finger out of your backside and do your job and help Australian people find home and accommodation and food. Because the signs of the Great Depression coming back. I did a podcast on Wisdom on social audio about the Great Depression. If you should look back in the Great Depression, food shortage. If you look back in the Spanish flu, panic buying as well. Oh my God. You know that. Panic buying. And then you think about, like, something needs to change. You know that? Something needs to change in these circumstances, I guess. I come here on the microphone. When I do the Stephen Shields radio show, I don't use scripts. I don't plan the show out. I mean, I hate scripts. I can't stand them. They're time consuming. I talk and I express my opinions from my views of the world, what I study. All right? I don't need to prepare the show. I come here, I tell the truth, I tell it the way it is for my listeners to hear the truth, uncensored. Because I'm fed up with media companies trying to shadow banning me, shadow banning my conservative viewers, shadow banning, people that I know. It doesn't matter. You could be a Labour voter, Liberal voter, whatever. But as soon as you say something that you disagree with on climate change or whatever, that's like, we're going to shadow ban you. ABC is very good at that. I have noticed in the last couple of years, if you watch the ABC, very good at stirring up trouble. Very good at it, actually. And I just switched that off. I can't stand that channel. Channel 10, Channel 9, ABC, SBS is all right. But I just switched that off because I can't stand it. They're very good at stirring up trouble. And Daniel Andrews as well, putting Melbourne into a huge, harsh lockdown. My God. It was like going like Shanghai. Remember back in 2020 and, how many lockdowns did Melbourne fucking have? One of the most locked down state and city in the world, which is ridiculous. You know that. Not only that, with these press conferences putting the fear, anxiety into people, creating mental health problems is not cool. And that's all they want to talk about is, getting vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Look, I've been fully boosted, but I could still get COVID-19. You know that. You don't hear the press conferences scaring you about the monkeypox. That's quite bad. You should look into that. So there's a lot your government is not telling you about that they should be. There's a lot that your doctor doesn't tell you about that he or she should. They study medicine for 4 years. You pay to go get your consultation. And yet our health system in this country is gone to shit. It's like firefighters are becoming paramedics because the health system's gone down. What's happened? Why don't we have enough doctors and nurses in our public hospitals? Why is it if I go, I've seen a few times the GPs up in my local area have decided to close on a Saturday because there's a doctor shortage. What the hell's happened? You, the taxpayer, pay for your Medicare, and this is what we get because of COVID. Oh, no, we can't see you because you've got a sore throat or a little cough. Oh, no, you got a slight temperature. We don't want to see you. You have to go get a COVID test. This is the fear that they put into us. Now, COVID is a bad disease. Of course it is. But I just don't like, because they get instructions from New South Wales Health on what to do and then scaring people. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. That's all from me, guys, this morning. I thought I'd come here and do some broad podcasting because I love the podcast as well. It's really great. I've got a new single out called Creation of the Universe. Definitely check that out on Spotify. I highly encourage you to buy it on Bandcamp. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Stephen Shields radio show. Live streaming now on Facebook and Twitch. Video cast will be available on Spotify. Don't forget to do that, guys. Stay cool. Keep practicing spirituality. Keep meditating. Keep doing yoga. Keep exercising. Keep hitting those weights. I've got Audible, so I'm always educating my mind, body, and soul. Getting out. Looks like a beautiful day today as well. Definitely need that sun. Get that vitamin D. And yeah. Stay, listen to some great audio affirmations too, and love yourself, take care of yourself, and be the best you that you can be. That's all from me. Bye for now.